it's me, Camden. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Cam Sings. So today I am at my church, Southgate Baptist Church, and so I am here with Derick Mickan. He's my worship minister, and so we are doing an interview with him, and you're gonna be able to know him better, and I'm gonna be able to get to know him better. And so yeah, let's just hop right into the interview. Thank you so much for letting me be in your office today to do the interview with you. So I'm just going to ask you like 9 or so questions, and then you're just going to answer them, and then they're going to get to know you better, and I am too. So
that sounds good. Welcome to my office and all the chaos and madness that it is.
Thank you. So the first question is, what's your favorite thing about being the minister at church?
Okay, I would say my favorite thing about being the minister of worship here at Southgate is, number one, all the people that I get to meet and I get to work with. I would say that's probably the biggest blessing of being able to do music ministry here, because it takes so many people, you know. So from the people that are on stage that are singing with me and that are playing instruments, to even the people behind the scenes that run like the cameras and that run sound and things like that. And so it's just a lot of fun to be able to work with such good people.
Yeah, I bet it is. So the second question is, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I tell you, so when I was a kid, in the beginning, a lot of people wouldn't know this, so this is real news for you.
Yeah.
But when I was a young man, at one point early on, I was very much about preaching, believe it or not. It wasn't something that was necessarily long-lived, but say when I was 6, 7 years old, like I'd even wrote out different sermons. I don't have those anymore. I'm sure they were great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of thought maybe that maybe one day I'd be a preacher. Even so much so that you know, I was born and raised out on this big couple 100-acre farm where they raise cattle, and so we had a lot of area, right? And so me and my cousins and brothers, like, we could go out there on the farm and do whatever we want. So I ended up making this small section where we'd like nailed a cross to a cedar tree. And had like made some little makeshift pews, and so we'd like take turns. We'd like preach and do songs and have church there in the woods. So that was the beginning. I would say, as far as then, as I got into the 3rd grade, that's whenever I was hooked on basketball. Yeah. And I wanted to be in the NBA. I was all about it. Even all through school, all the way through high school. Even when there's snow on the ground, man, I'd be wearing coveralls and be shooting hoops out on the farm. So that was kind of the big dream there, too.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the third question is, what made you want to be the minister? Okay.
Well, I tell you what, to make a long story short, because I don't want to keep us here forever, but one of the big things that happened to me was I didn't realize in the beginning that God was calling me into ministry. But my father was a big part of me, like, getting involved in ministry. So one of the very first ministry things that I ever did was I taught Sunday school for the younger youth. And so that was kids that were 7th grade to 7th and 8th graders. And so my dad had came to me. I was 19 years old. So I was out of high school and I was starting college. My dad came to me and he said, "Hey son, I need you to teach this class for a couple weeks, because we lost their teacher. The teacher stepped down. We want you to teach for a couple weeks." And that went from a couple weeks to a couple years. And so from that point of being a Sunday school teacher for younger youth, and I became the youth director. And then from that point, I did double duty, and I was the youth director and the music minister at my home church for quite a few years there. So that's something else a lot of people don't know, is that I did youth for a while. And so it was really, my dad was a pretty big influence and pretty big part of me getting started in ministry.
That's really cool. So the fourth question is, do you ever get nervous before you go on stage? And if so, what do you get nervous about?
Okay, I would say, to answer your question, I really don't. I really don't get nervous. Now, I say that to say this. I think it's a God thing because when I first started singing in church, like at our church, it was a little country church, and we would do special music. And they had a thing called Singspiration that we would have on the 5th Sunday of the month. And it would be on a Sunday night, and anybody that wanted to sing would get up there and sing. And so used to, when I would sing, I got so nervous. Yeah. My hand would shake when I'd hold the mic, and I would stare at the back wall or close my eyes because I just couldn't do it. And, since that time of going from singing special music and singing in school to then going into actually leading worship, it's like since the time I've been leading worship, it's one of those things that I don't get nervous about. Like I say, I really think it's God just giving me the confidence to do it. Now, if you have me preach, I get very nervous about that. Yeah. It's not as comfortable. But for leading worship, it wouldn't matter if there was 5 people or 5,000. It's just something I think that is a blessing from God that He's given me the ability not to get nervous like that anymore. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's really nice. So, what is your favorite instrument to play?
Of course, my favorite instrument is guitar, man. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the only instrument I can really play. I can play bass a little bit, but man, I love guitar, and so anything from an acoustic guitar to an electric guitar, I love playing guitar, and I'm not the best at it, but I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy it, and so it's kind of a passion of mine because I have quite a few, more than just these on the wall. So something that I've just really been passionate and love. But I will say, I'm hoping at some point I was gifted a piano from some folks that were members of this church, but they moved away. Brooksy and Jim Jennings, and so they gifted me a piano, and so my goal is, because I've had it tuned and keep it in good shape, is to kind of learn some piano. So who knows what the future holds? Maybe piano will become my favorite at some point.
Piano's really fun. So it might work out. The 6th question is, what is a song that you love to sing, and why is that like your favorite song to sing?
I would say my favorite song to sing right now would be Goodness of God. Yeah. The first time I heard that, I was just happened to be going across different videos on YouTube, which, I try to always know what's the newer stuff out there just to be aware. And I came across this song, and it was a live version, so it was like during a church service that they were doing it. And man, I heard that song, and it just hit me right here. And before I knew it, I was crying like a baby. And then by the middle of the song, and I just thought, wow, I haven't had a song move me like that in a long time. And so that's been a big thing. Yeah. But you want to know something funny? So a lot of times what I do if I get nervous or I get scared, I sing the chorus to Stand in Your Love. So used to, I would do buildings and stuff here where I took care of stuff. If the alarm went off at 2 in the morning, I'd have to come up here. And so I'm not really scared of the dark, but this building's so big and makes so many noises, it kind of makes me a little nervous at times. And so anytime I would come in at nighttime, I'd start singing, my fear doesn't stand a chance because I stand in your love. As I'm holding my flashlight and walking through the big empty church at 2 a.m. Yeah. So, but I find that with music, for me, it just gives me confidence, gives me strength at times when I need it, makes me happy at times when I need it.
Me too. 7th question is, what song really speaks to you when you sing it on stage, and how does it speak to you?
I would say, because man, we've sang a lot of different songs the 7.5 years that I've been here. I would say I'd have to go back to, Goodness of God, of course, is a big one. But the one that I feel like this church really responds to and people just sing it so strong is Death Was Arrested. I mean, it's one of those things to where you don't maybe notice it if you're out in the congregation singing. Yeah. But I get to see everybody as I'm up there, and sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, right? Yeah. But I get to see these people just get into it and just express themselves in a way that I've never seen. When I sing that song, when we're singing it, people they lose it in a good way, and it's just awesome to experience that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really nice. So this is kind of like a little bit more of like a different question, as in like, you know, more of like a life question or something like that, you know? So the 8th question is, what's your favorite sport to watch, and who's your favorite team from that sport?
Okay, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
It would definitely be, I love watching football, and I love the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers. I even have my own shelf over here that's got, you know, all some Green Bay Packers stuff that I have, and, you know, I have a cheese head at home.
Yeah.
Should have brought it. I could have wore it for you for a shot. But I love the Green Bay Packers. And if you'll let me, I'll tell you why I love the Green Bay Packers. Because I love Chiefs too. I love the Chiefs. But, so everybody asks me, they say, Derick, how can you live in Missouri and root for the Green Bay Packers? And it's simple. This is what happened. So what grade are you in right now?
I'm in 4th grade.
You're in 4th grade.
Yeah.
So when I was in like 7th grade, my parents, just as your parents probably do, they always push the importance of daily Bible readings. Reading your Bible every day. And so they had something then that they still have now. It's a little bitty white book, and it's Our Daily Bread. And it's basically a book for each month or quarter. I think it's maybe quarterly. And so it's got every day, every date. Well, in the middle, I loved it because it would always have a centerfold that would talk about a sports star that that believed in Jesus and that were a strong Christian, okay? And so I saw many different sports stars in my time of doing that, but so one day I got the new book and I opened it up, and I didn't watch a whole lot of football then, but I liked it, and I opened it up, and it was Reggie White. So Reggie White was a strong Christian, and they called him the Minister of Defense. And he was a strong believer. He died young, unfortunately, but he had just been traded from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Green Bay Packers. And after reading his story and his faith in Christ, I said, you know what? If I'm going to root for a football team, it's going to be this guy's team. And it happened to be the Green Bay Packers. I didn't know who Brett Favre was. I didn't know any of the other people at first. But I loved him and his stand for Christ. And so, since I've been a cheesehead ever since, man.
Yeah.
Loved it ever since.
That's amazing. So the last question, 9th question, is what's a really inspiring message you would like to share to everybody watching?
I would say the thing that I would like to share with people is that whatever it is that you feel that God is calling you to do, He will equip you to do it. Now I say that because, so for me, you know, I'm a minister of worship, and I get up there and I lead worship with it, and I play guitar and sing, right? Well, the only reason I'm able to do that is because God gives me the ability to do it. When I first started leading worship, I couldn't sing and play at the same time. And at that point, I only knew 3 chords. And it was by the grace of God that I got hungry, and I had a lot of people around me that were willing to like teach me, that I was able to spend that time to learn and play. And so for me, that's the only time I play guitar, is whenever I'm leading worship. Like, you know, a lot of guys, they might play out and know a lot of secular songs, which that's all fine and good. But for me, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt I couldn't do it without Him giving me the ability. I just strictly do it for Him. And so I would say for anybody out there that feels God calling them to do something, I would say, you know, just trust God and go after it. Because He equips the called. He truly does. And so if you feel called to do something for the Lord, you got to do it. Kind of like for you doing this channel, right? It's encouraging. And I will say, you know, with being the 40th subscriber, I feel honored to do so. And I'll tell you, after watching some of your videos, like with your music teacher, it was uplifting, man. It put me in a good mood.
Thank you.
And so it's a wonderful thing you're doing.
Thank you. Well, that was the last question, so thank you so much for letting me film this interview with you, and thank you for letting me in your office. Your office is amazing, and you're such a great, inspiring person. I just love what you do, and just keep on, you know, spreading love to the world, to this church, and keep on making it better.
Hey, I will do, buddy. I appreciate the opportunity to be in this interview, and thank you for thinking of me to be a part of it. So, thank you.
Hey, this was like a really amazing interview in my opinion, and Derick is such a great, inspiring person that he can just make so much feelings to me that, just makes me feel like a better person. So, thank you so much. I just can't stop thanking Derick for letting me do this in his office and letting me film an interview with him. So, also, I heard that Derick was my 40th subscriber, and I never knew that, but he just told us that today, and thank you so much, because honestly, if it wasn't for him and all the other subscribers, I wouldn't be at YouTube that much at all today. So thank you guys so much, thank you Derick so much, and just subscribe, and turn on post notifications if you like this video. If you don't, it's okay, you don't have to do it, but if you liked this video, then please subscribe, like, and turn on post notifications. And like always, God bless you, go out and bless others. Have an amazing day.